final, that last over, changed history really. A boy from nowhere created so much.
2007 would be a significant year for the game of cricket. A new format of the game, T20, was still in its infancy. But the success of the first ever T20 World Cup in South Africa was about to propel the game to new heights.
What a spectacle this has been. The players have put on a show here.
This is the story of Joginder Sharma, a man who came from humble beginnings and dared to dream big and ended up bowling quite possibly the most significant ball in the history of Indian cricket. India travelled to the inaugural T20 World Cup in 2007 without most of their star names. Tendulkar, Ganguly, Kumble, Lakshman and Dravid all didn't make the trip. Faith instead was put in the younger players to make their mark on the world stage. A surprise addition to the squad was 23-year-old all-rounder Joginder Sharma, someone who had only previously played 3 ODIs for India back in 2003.
I've actually played with him during the 2004-05 Ranji Trophy when I had played. He was somebody who was up and coming a bit, not a big household name per se, but the fact that he could bowl a good outswinger and he had this uncanny ability to obviously land it on the seam and bring it back, that caught the attention of the selectors.
India had a varied start to their campaign. An abandoned opening game against Scotland was followed by the iconic bowl-out victory over Pakistan.
Missed it! India have won, and have a look at the celebrations.
Joginder, though, was still yet to make an appearance in the competition. A defeat at the hands of New Zealand, however, would present him with an unlikely opportunity.
Ajit didn't go according to plan. I don't think he had a great few games. And then Joginder replaced him because he was pretty much a like-for-like replacement, a bowler who could bat a bit.
For someone like Joginder to come into the side with all the experiences around in a format and a tournament that no one really knew anything about, they are career-defining moments.
Thanks to Yuvraj's heroics against England and a rampant bowling performance against South Africa, India found themselves in the semi-final. Awaiting them, Australia.
Very warm welcome to Kingsmead once again. India winning the toss tonight, electing to bat first. I suppose you can hear this.
India set the Australians a daunting 189 for victory. Vital knocks from Matthew Hayden and Andrew Symonds would, however, keep their team in the game and would leave Michael Hussey needing 22 from the final over. Captain MS Dhoni turned to Joginder to see the game home.
Being an Indian cricketer is full of pressure. MS takes pressure off you.
Joginder, obviously, we knew could bowl very decently at the death, and so we expected him to clean up Australia at that point of time, and that's exactly what happened.
Bowled in! It's India in the final on Monday. Look at these scenes.
So the young guns of India had managed to exceed all expectations and reach the final of the inaugural Men's T20 World Cup. Only one team would stand between them and a historic first T20 World Cup victory. That team was, of course, Pakistan.
It would be in many ways the biggest game for most of us, and the fact that it was a final just added to the whole drama.
The atmosphere, as you'd expect, is electric. Here they come, the first two for India. Oh, that's better. That's better from India. That's better. Scoreboard. Full on. Slow delivery. He's got one. Feel the lumbering. Oh, he punches it over.
Pakistan would need 158 runs for victory. Despite a couple of early wickets, Pakistan refused to be beaten. Misbah-ul-Haq was looking like the person who would have to take them home.
He started pretty meekly. I think they were slightly behind the game, especially when Afridi got out at that stage, slightly behind at that point. But then there was this one particular over which Dhoni took a bit of a gamble and gave it to Harbhajan Singh to an end that was probably slightly tough for an off-spinner to bowl. And Misbah took full toll of that over, and that kind of set the cat amongst the pigeons. The scoring rate slightly kept pushing up, and you knew that obviously if Misbah had stayed the distance, there was a great chance they could have won that game.
Goes! Clears mid-wicket, 6 more. 18 of the over, he puts the pressure right back into India's court.
So it would all come down to the final over, 13 needed for victory. MS Dhoni would once again turn to Joginder Sharma to bowl India to World Cup glory.
It was between Joginder and Harbhajan Singh. given the fact that Misbah-ul-Haq had taken down Harbhajan the previous over, it had to be Joginder.
13 needed. Wide. He'll feel the pressure. Big decision for Dhoni. Should it have been Joginder? Should it have been Harbhajan Singh with his experience?
MS Dhoni has walked up to him, just possibly trying to calm his nerves.
I think it was the first sign we saw of the class and calmness of Dhoni. Now, some captains would go to Harbhajan because if it goes wrong, it's Harbhajan's fault. If it goes wrong for Joginder, it is MS's fault and MS will cop the flak. So I thought that was very smart and brave captaincy to take the pressure on himself.
In the air. This is six. It's a magnificent strike. Lands just in front of the side screen, which means Pakistan one strike away from winning this.
When you have 11 runs to defend, you need to understand that if 1-6 seals the game for you more often than not. And it could be bowled a wide, that's out of nervousness. The second ball was again a massive swing which he missed, but the third ball obviously just landed perfectly for him to hit it in the spot that he wanted, and you kind of felt that, geez, that's the game is slipping out of the hands.
He just looks so cool. Can he keep that cool going?
You know, there are always memories that you'll remember constantly as a sportsman, and that's one vivid picture, one vivid moment that's kind of, I can play it in slow motion, I can, you know, see it in as many frames per second, everything moving slowly. I remember where I was sitting, how I was feeling, who was sitting right next to me and how we ran into the ground. But that moment when the ball was in the air, just beautiful how it all unfolded.
In the air, Srishan takes it! India win! Unbelievable scenes here in the bowling. Jeff Lawson can't believe it. The Pakistan players stunned. And India would believe they've got out of the corner.
That last over changed history really, created so much. A boy from nowhere really created so much with that final wicket of Misbah.
Ironically, this would be the last time Joginder would represent his national side. His passion for serving his community would then lead him to a career in the police force. But the impact and legacy his final over would go on to have in both Indian and world cricket is bigger than he could have ever imagined.
There are not many cricketers who would A, do what he's done, B, be spoken about for so long, and you know, I'm really, I know he's a police officer today and he's working in Haryana and he's doing whatever best he can to the society, but people will always remember him as that bowler who bowled the last over in that World Cup.